What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to focus in on the San Jose Sharks and 10 questions looming over the team in Northern California to wrap up the 10 questions portion of California Week to go into the season. Without further ado, number 10. Will Pavelski and Logan Couture be weighed down by the new contract extensions? Absolutely not. They're both grade A players that have good shots at representing their respective countries at the Olympics this year. And, I think they're going to play the game. Their approach will not change because they're big time money bags players now. So they'll do what's necessary, and they both play to win, and I expect that to continue regardless of what their cap hit is. Number 9, will Matt Nieto become the second California native to suit up with the San Jose Sharks this year? I think he sees time. I think he absolutely sees some time in the NHL. I think he's going to be an explosive player at Worcester, but I think he needs time to develop. Big time fan of the Power Play with CJ. Hopefully turns into the next Russian Rocket. Or the Long Beach Rocket. I think he needs time to develop, but I think he'll definitely see, some time in the NHL. And with him, Thomas Hertl, who I'll talk about later, Mirko Mueller, a couple other guys, their farm system isn't as bad as it was last year was really, it had been the 30th ranked. I would rank it 30th. I'm sure the publications would as well, and I think now that it's on the up and up. It's not high end, so to speak, their farm system. But I think it's better than it was, which is a good thing. Number 8 is Vlasic a legitimate number 1 defenseman. I think he can be a number 1 defenseman with Boyle this year, and then what happens with Boyle, we'll talk about what the future holds for Dan Boyle, along with two prominent forwards. I think he needs to continue to ease into that role, but I think he's going to munch some serious minutes and be a serious contributor for many, many years. They signed him to a long-term extension as well. Number 7. Does the 49ers being in the Super Bowl, the Giants winning the World Series, and the Golden State Warriors having one of the most exciting teams in basketball put added pressure on the San Jose Sharks? Say absolutely. San Jose has been, the kind of punchline of playoff success in the NHL. But think about it, the Niners were down for a long time since the Jeff Garcia days. Really the Steve Young days, but they were relevant with Garcia. The Giants were once the Freak and Matt Cain came together. Then they became a great team, and the Freaks, freaking out on the mound, not pitching well. And then the Warriors were really a punchline in the NBA, and it's like a March Madness game the way Steph Curry can line stuff up. So now I think that those three teams are not only relevant but great. The pressure on San Jose to keep up in a non-traditional market, where for a while they were kind of the talk of the town. Then it'll always be, I think, a football city. I think it'll be a football state. California will always be a football state, but that was there. Number 6, does Nick Petrecki finally play serious minutes in the NHL? I want to write this kid off as a buzz from BC Eagle, first round pick in 2007. But I think he sees time, but I think his future is going to be a bottom pairing defenseman. That's the long and short of it. Speaking of long and short, how about Brent Burns' hair and beard? Number 5. Does Brent Burns stay up front next year? I think so. I think, he was a forward growing up. He was a forward in juniors. Jack LeMay decides to turn him into a defenseman. He was above it. He was a very, very good NHL defenseman. And then, San Jose used him for forward last year. I thought he's better at forward. I think a lot of people can agree he's better at forward. And I think had he stayed at forward all those years, I think he'd be a perennial 30, 35, 40 goal scorer. He's got good hands. He's big. He's tough. And, that's what you need from a power forward. I think that's what Burns was for the Brampton Battalion. I don't think that's what he was. That's what he was. It's a fact in the OHL. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. 2003 draft was 10 years ago. How's that for dating yourself? Number 4, another Sharks rookie. How much of Thomas Hertl will we see next year? I think Thomas Hertl will be heard from a lot next year. The 19, soon to be 20-year-old kid from the. I think he's Czechoslovakian. I think he's Czech. He's a hell of a player. He's coming over. I think he'll need AHL seasoning as well, but I think he'll definitely end the year in the NHL roster. And like I said, as I like to say, it's not where he starts, where he finishes. Is McClellan on the hot seat? Yes. I think, I can't reiterate the playoff punchline that it's been the San Jose Sharks the last 6-7 years. That's just, it is what it is. I like him as a coach, product of Detroit's system. They've done remarkable things, but, I think he's really on the hot seat if they don't play up to standards, both in the regular season and postseason. Speaking of the playoffs, will they go all in this year? Number 2, I'll tie these into one question, so we'll be top 9 questions. Are they going in all in this year? And is this the end for Thornton, Marlowe, and Danny Boyle? They're both from last year's by contract. Thornton and Marlowe, I think, are 35, and Boyle's 37. If you're not going to get one of them, deal with them as individuals. If one of them won't sign an extension for a year or two, trade them off and get some assets. Like I said, even though the farm system's improved, it's still not great on the whole. And I think I wouldn't trade away, Hurdle, Nieto, Mueller, guys like that, for one last crack at it. This is, as I talked about the Pavelski extension, it's changing the guard in San Jose. If they, want to build around Pavelski and Logan Couture, maybe trading all three of them and ending an era of hockey might lead to some downtrodden times right off the bat. But if they don't think this team can win the Stanley Cup, I see no reason why you can't blow it up, take it in the neck for a year, and then go back at it next year. I hate writing off a season. I think it's disrespectful to the fans. It's disrespectful to the guys in the locker room and on the ice. But at the same time, you've got to know what's best for your organization in the long and short term. And possibly revamping this farm system by the maximum returns of Thornton, Marlowe, and Boyle. Even though they're older, you can still get some pretty good return on all three of them. And like I said, deal with them as individuals. Don't trade away all three or keep all three or whatever. But I think, but if they think this team's capable of winning the Stanley Cup, all three California teams are very, very good. And if they think this team can make some noise come postseason time, and I didn't even touch on it. Will Niemi keep it up? I think Antti Niemi will absolutely keep it up. I think he's a sure thing in that team. And like I said, you get him between the pipes, Pavelski, Couture, Vlasic long term. Maybe the older guys get shipped out. You bring in some prospects, some picks, and you start to reconfigure this team and build it in the image of a team that can have postseason success, meaning the Detroit Red Wings. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's our episode of the Power Play with CJ. 10 questions facing the San Jose Sharks going into the 2013-2014 season. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the offseason and beyond. Later, guys.